So today we are going to be talking about breaking into the biz.
Sound check. Check 1, check 2.
Let's get into talking about this discussion, shall we? This talking about stepping into and earning some coin. Now, I'm going to get this one out of the way first. Developing your vocal skills. And much of what we're going to talk about today is about laying the right foundation for being a professional singer, for stepping into this, in one sense, heightened space. And speaking from experience, there is another layer of pressure that comes from singing for coin. Now, you may already be a professional singer and you go, oh, I don't feel any pressure. And you may not, but I can tell you I did. I always felt there was a flavoring of pressure that came when I was having to sing, because someone's handing me their money for me to sing. And so I always wanted to really do a bang up job. I really think that should be the approach of any singer who is publicly singing, but certainly there's that little bit of extra spice that goes with professional vocals. And so getting your technique right, making sure that your voice has been developed to a point that it can carry not only that extra pressure that I'm talking to, but also what is often for professional singing, a sustained vocal, the vocal fitness, because in many contexts, you're not only singing one or two songs, you're now singing a full set. Perhaps you're doing a 45-minute set. Perhaps you're doing multiple sets in a night. You know, a lot of gigging singers will be doing, 3 or 4 sets of 45, 50 minutes. But then on top of that, a lot of those singers are then doing that 3 or 4, 5 nights a week. These place big, really significant requirements on the voice. And so having your technique in place is really important. Can I really encourage you to seek out, and this will come as no surprise to hear me say this, can I encourage you to seek out professional guidance in this space? You can get yourself so far in your development through self-guidance. And that's why we do what we do here at Voice Essentials. I try to provide you with a connection with a lot of content that allows you to self-guide. But there does come a point where I cannot speak more highly of receiving that personalized training from an expert teacher who can take you beyond what you can take you. A big thing, and this is really more to when we speak to singer-songwriters and also cover artists, really develop a really solid body of repertoire. And so if you are wanting to, start doing, for example, cafes or working in pubs and clubs, maybe on a Sunday afternoon where you're kind of that light entertainment in the beer garden, having 30 to 40 songs is the place to start. It's certainly not where you should sign off and go, okay, well, I've learned 30 to 40 songs, that's all I need to do. No, that's where you start and you build from there, because a really good singer and a good band has a variety of playlists that they can, and set lists that they can plug and play at any moment, because in a gigging scenario, you can have set, say, for example, you're doing 4 sets and you've set yourself up with, 40 to 50 songs to play over those 4 sets. And then the demographic completely changes on a particular night. Maybe a hens group come in and they're just wanting to do the nut bush and have a lot of fun. You've got to be able to change your set list accordingly. A good way to go about identifying what songs can I do, jump on to some of the local bands in your area. I'm talking particularly cover bands here. and sometimes you get to them through agencies or whatever. Often they will have on their website their songs that they play. And if you can jump on and find 4 or 5 of those groups and then download their set list and then identify what are the recurring songs across those 4 or 5 bands, that probably gives you a good insight into, you know, what are the absolute musts that should be on your set list for your local area. That's a good place. Again, it's a good place to start. Networking and self-promotion. This is, I'll be honest with you and say, it's hard. And I think it's hard for a lot of artists. You know, this idea of connecting and interacting with others. But in so many respects, this is a team sport. And so your ability to interact and engage, if in this area of networking and self-promotion, if there is one word you can take away from this, it has to be consistency, to gain that visibility, because it's a noisy space. And for you to cut through, you've got to be there. You've just got to be there all the time. You know, think about, as far as the networking, think about open mics. You never know who you'll meet at an open mic. If you're a standalone singer and you're looking for a guitarist, you will find guitarists at open mics. You know, if an open mic is being attended to more by any instrumentalist, it'll be guitarists. And also start to think about your personal brand. Yeah, start to think about, what is it about me visually that people can connect with, can identify with. There's so many different ways you can develop your personal brand, and that's a good thing to do. Understanding the business side, which we're kind of already working to, but it's the one area I think that is a weakness for a lot of musicians and singers, is the finances, right down to feeling uncomfortable with the idea that we're even charging money to do this thing that, let's be frank, we love doing it. You know, I have found myself at gigs going, I cannot believe I get paid to do this. This is awesome. That's fantastic. Don't be concerned or backward about that. That's a positive thing. Think about writing up a contract. Yeah, and learn to interact with prospective clients in a professional manner. It doesn't have to be over the top. You know, you don't have to send them a rider requiring, you know, that there are rose petals in the toilet. You only need to be appropriate to what you're pitching at. But, you know, a simple thing like a contract can be important. Be mindful of copyright. Be mindful of the importance of doing the right thing when it comes to copyright. You do not want to find yourself in breach. And where necessary, there will come a point where you may need to seek appropriate representation through agents, through managers, publicists. And it's also important when working with these 3 professional groups to build a sense of trust, and that I'll just say it like this: that trust needs to be mutual, and you need to be able to trust them, and they need to be able to trust you, and it's a two-way street. And finally, I do want to just speak to your mental and physical well-being. What you are about to embark on doing is a challenging thing to not only start doing, but to sustain doing. And in part because you are going to get a lot of knockbacks. For every person that's going to love what you do, there's going to be 99 who are not that into you. And so when you're first starting out, finding those places of positive connection can be really hard going and can really wear you down mentally. emotionally, psychologically. And so I want to really encourage you to gird your loins, you know, really be prepared. Do not see those knockbacks as unexpected. No, expect them. They are coming. Not if, but when. And so just be ready, because if you're thinking, oh, this is going to be smooth sailing, or this singing thing, it's just all, you know, rainbows and unicorns. I went to say rainbows and lorikeets. Here in Australia, we have rainbow lorikeets. Rainbows and unicorns. It could be lorikeets. It's not. It's going to be a challenge. Please be careful with your health and your general well-being. I'm talking now to your physical health. There are, particularly, let's talk back to the networking area. You know, often a lot of that networking is done after a gig. It's often done, you know, at 1 a.m. in the club after you've performed. There can be a little bit of alcohol that can go with that. That can then lead to you getting home and eating really late, eating really poorly, then going to bed, what ends up being really early the next morning, you know, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You might think to yourself, is he exaggerating? No, this is kind of, it can be quite normal. And so that can lead to a lack of sleep because you're getting up still at the same crazy hour to start your day job the next day. All of these things can really wear and tear on your physical health. And so you need to be attentive to all of this. You need to really treat your body as a temple and make sure that you are attentive to your hydration, your diet, your sleep, and your fitness, your physical fitness. I hope today's discussion of those points, and again, we haven't covered them all, have we? And you can leave your comments if you're watching the replay, leave your comments below. But I think a lot of those are really important for you to consider if you are wanting to start thinking about, you know, earning some coin from your voice. Be ready to you know, enact one, two, if not all of the things we've talked about there today. And I hope you've found that helpful.